Yeah.
I would add one other thing that just resonates with that point about me, is that after the pandemic, and so many of us pastors were pouring out to people and those of us who were bivocational and pastoring during the pandemic, there was such a large wave of burnout amongst clergy, right after the pandemic, because they had been pouring out 70, 80 hours a week, during the pandemic. And it just got to a place where people felt so depleted that they couldn't continue to give. And so that's another aspects of this intersection of faith and mental health and leadership that I'm just so glad that you're bringing to the forefront, because we need to have those conversations. So we're going to dive in. And so you got to find a way to replenish your mental health. Like, I often talk to my leaders and I ask, what are you doing that's life giving? Like, what's that thing that you do that's not about leadership? It's not about pouring out to anybody else. What is that thing that you're doing for you? And by life giving, I mean, it's like a breath of fresh air for you. I don't care if it's going to sitting in the park and people watching, or if it's travel or whatever your thing is, but what is feeding life and air back into your lungs? What spaces have you created for yourself where you don't have a role and you don't have a responsibility? People make a lot about self-care, but I often ask people, do you have any spaces where somebody's not calling you by a title and you don't have a responsibility to somebody?
Right.
And if you have those spaces, how often are you going there? Because if we're not being intentional to make sure that we are protecting, that light that we have, it'll
Mm-hmm.
get